What's up, business owners? Josh Bennett with PullEFP. For a business owner, time is money. This should come as no surprise to you. And this is especially true when it comes to creating content. So when you're creating content, you want to make sure you're being as efficient with your time as humanly possible. And one way to do that is to create content that is evergreen, that you can use over and over again. And COVID has actually presented business owners with a prime opportunity to sort of switch to a way of doing this that is going to be both beneficial from you from a leverage perspective and a time management perspective, but also, just a efficiency perspective and, probably even convert more. So the old way of doing things and getting in front of clients was send out mailers, potentially do an in-person seminar or go to networking conferences with the idea that you can do a presentation to show your expertise to then get prospects or clients educated to want to do business with you or do continued business with you, or just reinforce why a client may be in a relationship with you, just to protect that client relationship. So with COVID, what now people are doing is they've transitioned from that in-person seminar, which you may have done like say once a week or however frequently you're doing it as a business, to a online webinar format. And what's cool about this is with webinars, not only can you do a live webinar, but you can actually create an automated webinar. So you can create content and long-form content once and then reuse it over and over to grab leads in a consistent time frame, or on a consistent time, or in a consistent way without any increased effort. So what I'm going to show you in this video is how exactly I would set up that automated webinar. And we're going to use a software called EasyWebinar. So again, this allows you to create an automated webinar where you can post this on your website. You can drive ads to it. There's all sorts of things you can do where, as long as you're driving traffic there, you're generating these leads and getting them educated, getting them bought into how you think about and do business without actually doing any more work. So you create that webinar once, and then that's it. So let's take a look. So I use a software called EasyWebinar. So EasyWebinar, not necessarily the cheapest, about $129 a month, but really good deal for the value, or you get a lot for the price that you're putting in. So I've gone ahead and started setting up this webinar, but you'll notice up here you can do a live webinar, you can do an automated webinar, and you have recordings. So live webinar, just like the name suggests, say you have a topic you want to talk on, you drive customers to the live webinar, you present in real time. You can record that webinar and it records all the chats that came through, etc. And then you can then turn that into an automated webinar, or you can also use a YouTube video as an automated webinar, which is what we're going to do here. So you have the event info. So here's where you would type in the name. You would create a recurring event. This is where you can specify how many times you want it to go per day. So say I want one in the evening and I want one at like lunchtime. Well, then you can have a start date of this starts, today, and then you could specify an end date if you want it. Say it's one that's only a more time sensitive webinar, you could have an end date. You can then play around with the different settings down here. So this is basically allow registration for webinar in progress, or if you want to kind of cut it off 15 minutes before. So then you can actually tweak the registration page as well. So for example, I have my different headlines. You can come in here and change the image. So you can add more images, and you can add in testimonials. You can kind of do whatever you want on here. So you can do even customization. So like a header logo, different background colors. So you can tweak all these things. You don't necessarily need to, and that's kind of going down the rabbit hole of all the things you can do in EasyWebinar. But if you're trying to just be a first-time user, set up your automated, I would keep it more basic. You can add in presenter information and a little picture, and that's really all you need to do to get this set up. So you can adjust the thank you page. Really all I do is add an image. So on this event page, you would basically type in the headline. So say you just want the same headline as here. We can just copy this over on the event page. Say you want the same registration subheadline. You can add in a description if you want. We added the video URL in here. And so the video for this example was, 2 minutes and well, let's see here.
When you cross the street, is it negotiate?
Okay, so 8 minutes and 7 seconds. Obviously, if it's a webinar, it's going to be probably longer than that, but let's just add it in. 8 minutes, 7 seconds. Okay, so then you can add in, so if you have like a specific thing you want them to sign up for, you could add that in. You can add kind of whatever URLs you want. But so say that's all we needed to add. So we would go there, and then you're going to be provided with these registration links. So you could use this registration link and maybe add that link to a button on your website, or however, or button on a Facebook ad, however you're driving people to this webinar. You can also do this, get an embed code, and then you can actually have this to where you have the event registration, so let's just look at what this would look like. So you could have this just embedded on your website. So a lot of cool things you can do. And the cool thing is, once this is up, every time it's going to show the next available webinar. And you can actually, I didn't show this, but there's a way you can have 3 or 4 different options in there, so they can sign up for tomorrow's, the day after's, etc. So as often as you want to run this webinar, you're going to be continually running it on an automated basis without you actually having to do any more work. Once this is uploaded, it's out there. So people can sign up for this at any point in time. So really cool ideas, not only to drive like Facebook ads or something to these events on an ongoing basis, but you can also just embed it on your website, leave it there permanently. It's just another value add as people are checking you out and doing the research on you. You're showing your expertise constantly without you actually having to do more work. So again, this is all done through EasyWebinar. The other cool thing with EasyWebinar is on here, if we go to the event, you have the ability to set it up with your email provider as well. So for example, like we use ActiveCampaign, you can set the autoresponder up in EasyWebinar, so that way it automatically can add them as like a lead, as like a contact on a list in your email server, so that way you can continue to drip on them. Once they've done the webinar, send them relevant information on the topics, just send them your newsletter, however you want to go about providing additional value. This is going to be a cool way, because you can just set up your autoresponder. Say you have a 10 email drip sequence, they're automatically getting indoctrinated into how you do business. So again, all that can be automated, so you're basically conditioning people to want to work with you without actually doing any more work. It's a really powerful thing. So hopefully you found this useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions on EasyWebinar. There's a lot of webinar softwares out there, like Webinar Jam's another one. So any of these you can set up automated webinars. The key is to have automated webinars set up and have several of these going at different times. Like, so say you're a business owner and whatever topics that you find valuable, it could be useful to have 3 or 4 different webinars, all automated, all going on at the same time. And that can provide a lot of value to your prospective clients or current clients, as well as generate some leads for your company if you actually having to do any work. So again, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. But until next time, cheers.